Wow, good morning, everyone. And big shoes to come into. Thank you, Adam Briggs, for being a total fucking legend. Uncle Robbie and Jason for the acknowledgement this morning and the beautiful welcome. So I reckon most of you in this room have been to Bakehouse. Quick show of hands. Okay, so you may not have met me there, but I've been around in the trenches since the beginning. So it was the 1st of August 1991 that Quincy formed Bakehouse in the cobblestone lane of Bakehouse Lane where the old bakery was in North Fitzroy. That's 35 years. And for 35 years, it's been a story of building and growth and survival and struggle. And for those of you that have been there, you know it's built out of refuse. Everything is recycled and repurposed and picked up off the side of the road. And the other thing about Bakehouse is the connection to artists. So every day, every week, we have hundreds of artists that come through Bakehouse. On average, I reckon we chew the fat with about 500 musicians through the door. So we were really well placed. Cycle back to 2010 and very similar conditions to now. It was an election year. You had an incumbent government that had been in for 3 terms. They were staring down the barrel of a big loss, and there was a massive law and order campaign, very similar to today's conditions before this next election. And the law and order campaign was being absolutely amplified by the Murdoch press, etc. And the then government thought, well, it's all happening in licensed venues. So they used this blunt instrument and brought in all these conditions that made it virtually untenable for small live music venues. At the time, it was really important that we appealed to the hearts and minds of the general population. And everybody loved live music. And we found that. The support was extraordinary. There'd been people working on this for a number of years, Fair Go for Live Music. There was actually a seating committee for Music Victoria at the time. We were the only state that didn't have a peak body, and it wasn't funded at the time. We didn't even exist as an industry, so there was no data that quantified us. And so part of the demands from SLAM and that group that marched on Parliament that day were not only to fix up liquor licensing, because that was just symptomatic. The core is protecting artists and their music and the right to perform and not being knocked down by the unintended consequences of bad government policy. So we galvanised, we were strong, and the leadership was really important at the time. 10 demands were taken to government. Now here, fast forward to now. Many of those are still really, we've come a long way. We exist as an industry. You probably put music industry down in your census the other day, so the ABS know we're around. The liquor licensing has been sort of fixed, but it's still a problem. All ages gigs were a problem at the time. It's still difficult for venues to put on all ages gigs. Planning reforms were put on the table. Exercising the agent of change. Yes, it's there. Has it been tested? It's still weak. There are mechanisms that the government can do right now. Fiona's speech was an incredible call to arms. And what I can see in this room, looking at all of your beautiful faces, is that we can become galvanised again. And often when people talk to me, I'm like, I'm so tired. I feel like I've been fighting for 35 years. You know, keeping Bakehouse going, and I acknowledge the people from Kindred that are here as well. It's different for us. We depend on the health and stability of artists. We're interdependent. If you're not strong, we're not strong. We can't exist. We don't have a liquor license, so we can't depend on alcohol sales or those ancillary items that can prop up your bottom line. But what we do have is a strong let's just say strong as a top line item, because all of you, I'll just digress a little bit, we all get sad. We all feel that the weight of not only the conditions of the world, you know, streaming, the diminishing of venues, the struggle against development, if you do have a venue, the costs of insurance, the way that the models are changing. And then you're an artist trying to find your way through the quagmire of what is now becoming discoverable. So what we do have is each other. And I think that's something Uncle Robbie touched on at the time. If there's ever been a time to take pride in your art and your music, and we don't need to look at what's happening with the people that are charting well, just going to a tiny little gig, seeing your friends play, and what that conjures in you. My children are musicians, my partner of 40 years is a musician, and the joy that you get when someone just picks up a guitar in the house, this is what we need to synthesize into a message and bring it to the broader public. And if we're talking about government as well, they need to recognise that an organic scene like this was built for many, many, many generations, and you can crush it just like that. So it's great. Good on you, Nick Rees. He's very colourful. I haven't seen him speak many times. You know, talk about how great Melbourne is as a music city. Throws around big stats, lots of volume, lots of people. Back it. Back it not only with investment, back it through grants that support the entire ecosystem. And when we talk about the ecosystem, what is it? The artist is at the nucleus. Give them money to support. And guess what? You're not waiting for trickle down with artists like you might from big guns. Hey, may it come down. They will spend it. They will spend it with me and you and the publicists and the tech companies and Triple R and absolutely everybody in this room. Support your artists, support your grassroots venues, support the infrastructure that is there to hold our artists. Now, one of the other, how am I going for time, everyone? Keep going. I got asked, so here we are, we're all these years later, support Music Victoria, because Quincy and I are officially seniors. We are elderly, and I'm passing the baton on to every single person in this room, because after it's been years of activism and advocacy, and it's been at times demoralising, disheartening. I've spent time away from my kids, given a lot of blood, sweat and tears, which I would probably do gladly again because I'm a little naive. However, it's important for all of you to, and when we come together collectively, it's not forming your separate factions. Support Music Victoria. Subscribe to them. Come to these fabulous events. And then we will be listened to by government, because they can provide a very sophisticated platform that government will listen to. These are solutions. So if we step back to the Music Trust that we're talking about, it's been very successful in the UK, to the point where they're even buying community assets with some of the funds that they've raised. So buying pubs and community halls, supporting places with grants. So the 1% levy is a no-brainer. Okay, that's great. But government must look at us long-term. We can't work in election cycles anymore. This is a long-term strategy to not erode our sector any further. They need to underpin us with incredible support, and I think it's moderate asking for 27 million per year. Just look at New South Wales. And Nick Rees dissed them, but man, they are kicking goals at the moment. Why? Because they had 10 years to galvanise, come together, work together, because they were broken. And now the investment is something eye-watering compared to what we're getting in Victoria. And they're really building their community. And a lot of people are moving up there, a lot of organisations to capture that. I'm going back to the hope. The hope I have, I grew up in a Greek family and I go back and visit my elders quite regularly on the island. What I love about Greece is that from every young child to elderly person embraces their culture. They sing songs in language, they know the dances, they respect their elders, they're part of that broader music love. It's just entwined and it's part of your being. I feel that as someone coming from Melbourne. The music culture here has shaped me as an individual, and probably every single person in this room. Take pride in what we have. Just every little gig you go to. Rock Academy, I wanted to do a big shout out to Al over there and to the push and the young people coming through and the enthusiasm. You know, I'm prepared to listen to 100 really bad versions of Seven Nation Army and Smells Like Teen Spirit, because what they get through the participation in what gives me hope. At Bakehouse, we run a deaf and disability bursary for people, and some of our recipients are here today. Can I just say that has opened my heart so much to see people that were excluded from their community come through and be a part of it and make music, and participation is just as important as big commercial gain. And I want to talk about community radio. Dave, I went to the VMDO's data summit recently. The fact that so many overseas spotters listen to our community radio, and that's where the discoverability happens. We have some of the best community radio in the world. PBS, Triple R, MBS, 3CR, Sin FM. Embrace your and support them and subscribe. And I want to talk about record stores. I could not be prouder walking into our local record stores and seeing all the bands that I see at Bakehouse bleeding through the walls, their album covers right next to Madonna and Olivia Dean and all that other stuff that comes through. And the pride and the joy and the purchases that are happening in those stores. Go record stores, go public figures, I can see you. I'm gonna do it Uncle Robbie now and say hello to every single person in this room. I want you to take that hope about what we have and protecting it. And there's also, you know, there are a few really little things government can do. Just endorse the effing planning mechanisms. It's not expensive, it's sitting on the planning minister's desk. And really, if it's not her, I have to say, the Libs brought in the agent of change. You know, it happened quite quickly. It was a pretty poor version of it that was strengthened by a Labor government. But if we do get a change of government, it needs to be non-partisan. And the love of music and the love of everybody in this room and our culture needs to be taken on by every party. But it's up to us to express that.